What's going on, y'all? It's your man, Stephen Bardo, coming at you with another edition of Bardo's Breakdown. I know it's been a couple weeks. I'll explain why why I didn't come on here for a couple weeks, but glad to be back. Hope you guys have enjoyed the beginning of the Big Ten slate. Got a lot of stuff to catch up to, so let's get into it. Thanks for watching Bardo's Breakdown. If you want to join the tribe, text me to 312-847-2739. That's one of the ways you can join the inner circle that is Bardo's Breakdown. You can also get your free copy of Triple Threat, Stephen Bardo's Guide to Basketball Technology. Go to bardostribe.com, BARDOS tribe.com, and get your free copy of Triple Threat, Stephen Bardo's Guide to Basketball Terminology. And the third way, if you want to join, well, same way as you would if you were going to get your free copy, you can go to bardostribe.com and join the newsletter there. So looking forward to seeing you guys join. We've got a steady trickle of people that have joined in, so glad that it's growing consistently. All right. Player of the week, Marcus Damas at Illinois, 32 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. He was dominant in the win versus Northwestern when Illinois thrashed the Wildcats. Then he backed that up with 26 points and 5 rebounds versus Purdue. And I think one of the most impressive things is, I know for me, I was wondering whether he could do this without Terrence Shannon, without Shannon's presence. And he, like his teammates, really did a good job of just picking up a little bit. It wasn't like he had to be a Hercules or anything like that, or Coleman Hawkins had to start averaging 25. They just added a little bit more to what they were doing offensively, and it worked out well. And so Marcus Damas is your Big Ten Player of the Week, and deservedly so. Had monster games. Great job by the Illini. Big Ten Freshman of the Week for the 5th time this season. Owen Freeman is for real, y'all. I know you've been hearing me talk about Jonathan Blackwell at Wisconsin, but Owen Freeman is the real deal. Starting 5 for Iowa. Big Ten Freshman of the Week for the 5th time. He has 14 points, 13 rebounds against Wisconsin, and 15 points and 4 rebounds versus Rutgers. So I'm in Piscataway, New Jersey. I've got Indiana at Rutgers tomorrow, so I'm at the hotel, and I may have to go to my Wi-Fi on my phone if that happens again. Okay, so we got a Big Ten Freshman of the Week, Owen Freeman of Iowa. All right, let's take a look at last week's results really quickly. Huge game in the conference, the best one so far. Purdue over Illinois, 83-78. It was quite interesting. I'll go deeper into this, but Zach Edey was guarding Ty Rodgers. So you got the 5 guarding the point guard. He had a season low 10 points, but he had 15 rebounds. So, but Trey Kaufman-Renn was the grown man in that affair. Purdue with 18 offensive rebounds, showing their might on the glass. 2 of the better rebounding teams in the country meeting up. And Purdue prevails 83-78. Illinois blasted Northwestern by 30. It wasn't even close. The mask was outstanding. The Illini put 5 players in double figures. It was one of those nights where Northwestern couldn't get anything going. A lot of that had to do with Illinois. I'm throwing this Minnesota over Michigan game in here. Why? Because it was a win for Minnesota on the road against a struggling Michigan team. But when you look at Minnesota, they're 3-1 in conference, and everybody had put Ben Johnson in a coffin. And this is why I love to see situations like this, because the media get overzealous in trying to bury somebody for clicks and views, and not understanding that Ben Johnson's a quality coach. He's got a much improved team. That was a big, big win on the road for Minnesota. And then Northwestern pounded Michigan State. And if you guys haven't done so, go listen to Tom Izzo's post-game rant. It's hilarious. He goes into, the current state of college basketball. And I don't want to paraphrase it because I don't want to take anything away from it. It's classic Tom Izzo. go back and listen. But he was really disappointed in his team's lack of defensive might or will or grit because Northwestern dropped 88 points, and Northwestern doing a good job scoring, and but putting 88 up on Michigan State, that's pretty good. So those were some of the results from last week. So I'll go into a little deep dive now about the teams who I think are really, really playing well. Purdue is so good that I don't even think they're getting enough credit. They're number one team in the country, but the way that they're beating teams is highly impressive, right? And so think about this. Brad Underwood said in the post-game press conference after Illinois lost to Purdue, they thought that Zach Edey would guard Ty Rodgers. Think about that for a second. One, it points to a little bit of Ty Rodgers' limitations, his lack of confidence from shooting outside. I think he can shoot from outside. I've seen him. I've seen him shoot the ball. It's purely between his ears. But Zach Edey can guard a point guard on what I think is the second best team in the conference. It says wonders about Purdue, and it says wonders about what Zach Edey can do just besides scoring the basketball, burying guys in the paint, and grabbing rebounds. This guy is supremely talented. He's way more conditioned this season. And the fact that Purdue can get away with that and not get stung by it, because I think Ty had 2 points. He was 1 of 4 from the field, so he was a non-factor, and Illinois was not able to take advantage of this. So, but he had season-low 10 points, but he still had 15 rebounds. And then Kaufman-Wren dominates with 23 points, 4 rebounds. Mason Gillis, I believe, had 5 or 6 offensive rebounds. Purdue just beat Illinois up on the glass. And that does not happen generally. So Purdue, man, we're running out of superlatives to talk about them. Braden Smith was only 4 of 12 from the field, but then Lance Jones comes in and has a double-figure game when Fletcher Lawyer, I believe, was 1 of 8 from the field. So Purdue, man, they can have guys who don't play well. They've got enough depth and talent that other guys step up when needed. So I can't say enough about the Boilers. They're balling out of control. Here's something, and I wanted to credit John Rothstein, because people don't credit enough other people in the media, and I think it's important because this is a great stat. Wisconsin's won 10 of their last 11 games. Their only loss was to Arizona. 9 of those victories have been by double figures. And Wisconsin's played one of the toughest schedules in the country, right? They're averaging over 75 points a game. That's the highest in the Greg Gard era. Thank you, John Rothstein, for that nugget. That's a great nugget. And it serves more proof of how good this Wisconsin Badgers team really is. And Connor Essegian, ladies and gentlemen, now he's coming. He had 12 points in the last game in Wisconsin's victory. So if you get Connor Essegian going, you got Jonathan Blackwell, sixth player coming off the bench. Marcus Ilver has had some bright spots. They're still waiting for him to break out, because I think he's the player that, if Wisconsin can be a second weekend team in the NCAA tournament, Marcus Ilver is going to have to be a factor for Wisconsin. He's starting to come into his own. So, ladies and gentlemen, watch out for this Wisconsin team. And they've got a terrific matchup Saturday. They bring Northwestern Wildcats into the Kohl Center on Saturday. Yours truly will be covering that one. I am so looking forward to that one. Shout out to the Minnesota Gophers and Ben Johnson. They had him fired. And now, right now, in the Big Ten Conference, Gophers are second. They're 3-1. They got wins at Michigan, Maryland at home, and Nebraska at home within the Big Ten slate already. So Minnesota, people criticize Ben Johnson for doing what Jim Boeheim did his whole career. And as it was at one time the winningest coach in college basketball. Nobody criticized Jim Boeheim for not leaving the state of New York in November and December to get his team's confidence up. Well, Minnesota did something similar. Played a bunch of home games. This team is talented. They're confident, and their starting backcourt of Elijah Hawkins and Mike Mitchell Jr. out of the transfer portal has been a revelation. So kudos to Ben Johnson and Minnesota Gophers, because I love to see when media pundits have to shut the hell up because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. So kudos to Minnesota and Ben Johnson. All right. Let me go into my Fighting Illini deep dive here. You know what, guys? I'm more impressed with Illinois right now than I was when Terrence was playing with them. I know that sounds crazy, but the way they took apart Northwestern, nobody's going to beat Northwestern by 30 this year. It's not going to happen. It's not. That was one of the most impressive games this season by any team. Northwestern is, hold on. I believe they're 50. Northwestern right now is 56th in KenPom ratings. That's with a loss to Chicago State. If they don't lose to Chicago State, ladies and gentlemen, Northwestern's probably in the 30s, maybe even in the 20s in KenPom rankings. This is a very good team, and Illinois took them apart. That game was out of reach early, and Northwestern never threatened, right? And then they come back, and they battled Purdue. They got down early. They got bludgeoned on the glass, but they kept fighting. They gave themselves a chance. And this was without Dane Danger really even giving any production. I thought when Terrence went out, Dane would get more time. I think with certain matchups, we'll see Dane Danger. But I would really like to see Illinois utilize him a little bit more. He didn't have to become a starter, but he shoots such a high percentage from the field, and he can create points that, pardon me, I think that he can really be an integral part. But, I'm not knocking Brad and his staff because they know what the hell they're doing, because this team is a hell of a team. This Illinois team is some people think it's the best team in the Big Ten, believe it or not. I'm dead serious. I've heard two Big Ten coaches say that they think Illinois is the best team in the Big Ten. Now, that was probably with Terrence Shannon, but without Shannon, they're still right there. So I was really, really impressed. Now, I've got to address this situation because this is the reason why I haven't done a show in 2 weeks. When I heard the situation about Terrence, I was sick to my stomach. I had tears in my eyes. And here's the worst part about this situation. 2 young people's lives will forever be altered. It will never be the same again. The young lady and Terrence, their lives will never be the same. These are young people with hopefully their whole lives ahead of them. But now this situation will tarnish their lives forever. And to me, that's the worst part of the whole scenario. Now, I've got information that I'm not going to share because I want to be sensitive to what's going on. But it's a travesty. The whole scenario it's a travesty. Anytime these situations happen, there's no winners and losers in anything, right? And so until the facts, and we may not know the true facts, sometimes they never come out. But until the facts come out, and if they do, and things get cleared up, I'll come back on here and give my opinion about it. But what I really want to say is that I am truly crushed that this young man's career that he has worked his tail off for is now it's in jeopardy. It's just my opinion. His career is in jeopardy. I don't think that he'll wear an Illinois jersey again. I don't know how I don't think that they'll expedite anything on his behalf. Things take time when they're in court. And so I think his days in an Illinois jersey are over. Now, if he comes back and plays, God bless him. I wish the best for that young man. I wish the best for this young lady. I don't know her name. I don't know anything about her. I just wish the best for these 2 young people. Because again, they're not going to be able to move around any longer without being tarnished from this situation. And that's the travesty in the whole thing. So that's why you haven't seen me in a couple of weeks. Ladies and gentlemen, I was literally sick. I was in tears. I was not in a good way because I know how hard that young man has worked. I don't know anything about that young lady. But again, the travesty is that these two young people's lives will forever be altered. All right. And so I just wanted to come on and address that because I had stuck my head in the sand because I was too emotional about it. The emotion has subsided. There are more facts that have come out. Well, I won't say facts. There's information that's coming out that if it makes it to the light and people hear about it, I'll come back on and address it. Okay. And if you guys have questions, I'll try to address them as best I can. But that's really what I want to say about the situation right now, and that I'm just sick to my stomach about the whole ordeal. Okay, on to better things. Thank you for listening to that. Stock rising. Purdue, obviously, they faced their toughest challenge within the conference, which was Illinois, and they passed with flying colors. We referenced Illinois and how well they look without Terrence Shannon. Wisconsin, winner of 10 of their last 11 games. They are scoring the basketball at 75 points per game per clip, highest under Greg Gard. And then Minnesota is 3-1 in conference play and really playing good basketball. Stock falling. Michigan is having a tough time. They just can't seem to learn how to defend on a consistent basis. Their offense, they score enough points to play with anybody. But in the second half, in critical junctures, this team, I don't know if they're not connected, but they seem to falter at the wrong time defensively. Penn State and Michigan in the Palestra was an outstanding experience. Penn State punched them in the mouth in the second half. Michigan never responded. And so they've got to go back to the drawing board because this could be a long season for the Wolverines. Ohio State, they tantalize you. Bruce Thornton is one of the better point guards in the league. Roddy Gale Jr. coming into his own. Jamison Battle having probably the best year of his career with a winning program and being a serious factor in what Ohio State's doing. But right now, Ohio State 2-2 in the Big Ten, and they take 2 steps forward and take 1 step back. So let's see if they're still young. See if they can right the ship, but they just haven't been able to put it together like I thought they would. And then Rutgers 0-3 right now in the conference. They had a tough one at Iowa. They had a tough one at Ohio State. Illinois beats them at home. So Rutgers, like Nebraska, like Minnesota, the Big Ten Conference doesn't do them any favors. Why do I say that? When you look at how the conference is the schedules are, let me give you an example. So when you're asking a Rutgers team to start the conference, they got a gift. They got Illinois coming to them in December. Illinois blast them, right? Because Illinois, they were full strength at that point, playing some of their best basketball. Now you got to go to Ohio State when Big Ten play resumes. You got to go to Iowa. You get Indiana tomorrow, the game I'm doing on Peacock, Indiana at Rutgers. You get Indiana at home. Then you go to Michigan State. Then you get Nebraska here. Then you go to Illinois. So what do I mean by that? When you look at Illinois' second best team in the Big Ten to me, right? Ohio State their record is 2-2 in conference, but I still think they're a top 5, top 6 team in the conference. Ken Palm thinks so too. Then you go to Iowa. Any road game is tough. You come home against Indiana, who is, let's look at what Indiana is right now. I believe Indiana is 4th. No, they're tied for 2nd in the conference at 3-1. So you get Indiana at home, and then you got to go right back on the road at Michigan State. So what happens is, if you got to play the upper echelon teams early in the Big Ten Conference slate, you can get buried. And then you're running uphill the rest of the conference way. So the conference really doesn't do Rutgers any favors in terms of how they start the Big Ten slate out. And so their stock has been falling, but here's something to consider. Steve Peichel every single year has figured out how to get this team better. Every single year. It does not matter how Rutgers looks. Every single time they tend to figure it out. So I'm not. Steve Pikiell's been in the Big Ten 8 years. I'm not betting against him. I think that they'll eventually get it turned around. All right. Let's look at the Big Ten or the Big Ten Ken Palm rankings, because the AP doesn't mean squat to me. I don't really look at that. The Big Ten ranking, Big Ten Ken Palm rankings. Purdue is number 2 in the country. Illinois moves up to 7. I believe they were 9 last week. They're 7 this week. Wisconsin was 17. They're up to 12 now. Michigan State. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Michigan State is 1-3 in conference, 9-6 overall, and they're 19 in the Ken Palm rankings. So don't look at Michigan State's record. Don't look at what happened last night. Teams are going to get beat on the road in the Big Ten conference, in any Power 6 conference. That's just the way it is on the road in the Power 6. But Michigan State is still very highly thought of by the people who really know what they're talking about. Ohio State comes in at 33, and then you've got 3 teams. I believe it's hold on, let me look. Let me not guess. Let me make sure. Nebraska 52, Iowa 53, and Northwestern 56. Those are the 3 after Ohio State. All right. Nebraska 52, Iowa 53, and Northwestern 56. Okay. So those are our Big Ten rankings. And then let me get to the games to watch this week, then I'll get to your questions. Good one tomorrow, Purdue at Nebraska. Last year, that was an overtime game. I was able to do that one. Nebraska is much improved, and they'll have their hands full with the big fella, right? So it's going to be interesting to see if Purdue can continue their dominance on the road, where Pinnacle Bank Arena is going to be rocking. All right. Wednesday, Wisconsin. No, that's not right, is it? No, that's not right. Wisconsin at Ohio State. This is a great opportunity for Ohio State to right the ship bringing Wisconsin to their place. Wisconsin, I told you, has won 10 of their last 11 games. So Ohio State's got a great opportunity to get above 500 in Big Ten play and get a serious notch under their belt. That's going to be a big game. January 11th, Thursday, Michigan State at Illinois. Michigan State is desperate. And whenever Michigan State's desperate, they play their best basketball. Go back and check the Baylor game. A lot of people, including me, I didn't see a way for Michigan State to win that game, and they punished Baylor. I'm not saying they're going to punish Illinois, but what I'm saying is I don't even care what the line is. That's going to be a heck of a ball game. It's going to be physical. I hope the officiating crew is one that's going to let them play a little bit, because that's going to be an outstanding game. And then lastly, on Saturday, yours truly, I'll be there. Northwestern at Wisconsin. It's going to be a slugfest. Northwestern defense, one of the tops in the Big Ten. Wisconsin, you saw, scoring almost 76 points a game. Something's got to give in the Kohl Center on Saturday. That's going to be an outstanding game. All right. All right. Let me pull up. Hold on. Let me go back to close that out. And then let me come back. Let me get your comments here. Again, if you want to join the tribe, text me 312-847-2739. I don't blow your phone up. I haven't been real active. I'm going to start picking up on it and give you some of my daily thoughts. You can do that, or you can go to Bardo's Tribe, BARDOS tribe.com, and get your free copy of Triple Threat, Stephen Bardo's Guide to Basketball Terminology. All right, here we go. Great to see you calling the Rutgers at Ohio State game the other night. Thank you. I appreciate that. It was a great game. Hopefully we'll have another one tomorrow on Peacock. Tune in. Indiana at Rutgers. Indiana playing well. Rutgers needs a win to keep pace in the Big Ten. That's going to be a heck of a game. Do you think Iowa can find a better coach than Fran? Says Don Nelson. You don't like Fran, John? I mean, let's see. Iowa 1-3 in the conference play and 9-6. But let me go back to and share something with you. Iowa's 53 in Ken Palm. So Iowa's strength of schedule is really, really strong. Really strong. Okay. And we've seen Iowa do this before. They kind of, we've seen them stub their toe and then they get on a run. So don't don't count Fran out yet. He said get a better coach than Fran. Wow. That's a strong statement. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Hello, my cousin Greg Scott knows your dad and where with. Oh, you know what, Carl, you can send this on YouTube. Go to bardostribe.com and you know, you can go to stephenbardo@gmail.com. You can send me an email. I won't force you to join the the mailing list, although I think it's a good idea for you too. But if you just want to send me an email, send it to stephen.bardo@gmail.com. That's stephen.bardo@gmail.com. Thank you, Carl. I look forward to seeing that. Appreciate that. Phil Kafka. Good question. Is every team just going to play Rodgers that way the rest of the season? You know what, Phil? I don't think every team has the personnel that Purdue has. And so Purdue is very unique in the way that they can defend. But I don't see Cliff Amore of Rutgers or Terrace Reed Jr. Although those two guys have the foot speed and the quickness to do so, I don't think that their defensive schemes will do that necessarily. So we could see. Let me think. Madi Sissoko could possibly do it for Michigan State. Julian Reese can't do it for Maryland because they can't afford to get him in foul trouble. Stephen Crowell doesn't have the foot speed, I don't think, to do it. And Zach Edey did such a good job just using his size, and he was so far back in the lane that has a psychological effect on players sometimes. And you saw Ty would dive in there every now and then. He'd dive in, but he didn't feel comfortable enough attacking Edey. I wouldn't either. The dude is 7'4", and he's tough. You think, okay, go through his chest, go through his snot box with your elbow, and get it ain't that easy, y'all. Okay, so great question though, Phil. And Brad Underwood and his staff anticipated it, but he said in the pregame post conference that they didn't prepare enough against it. So if they do that, they'll have a little bit of experience as a result. So Phil, great question. Thank you for your question. Carl said, I'm a Boilermaker fan. So, okay, great. I mean, great team. You've had great teams the last 2 years. So let's see what they can do moving forward. I thought Illinois might challenge them with Terrence Shannon Jr. I'm not certain now, but we'll see. We'll see. Robbie's the man. Robbie has become, in my opinion, if he's not the best, he's definitely one of the best color analysts in the business. Robbie's a star, and he's only going to get better. And he does a fantastic job. I love watching the games that he calls. What is going on with Indiana and Nebraska the other night? Road game. Xavier Johnson was with Mike Woodson, Indiana's head coach, said that he takes the blame for Xavier Johnson not playing well at Nebraska because he said he was handling him with kid gloves and didn't throw him in the fray at practice, kind of was trying to be easy on him. But then you saw what Xavier Johnson did against Ohio State. 17 points, played a lot better, was aggressive because he had a good few days of practice. So that's what happened to Indiana and Nebraska. They just turned the ball over too much. And I think that, Mike Woodson took the blame for that, which I appreciate. Let's see. I enjoy hearing Coach Bruce Weber call games too. Yeah, Coach is good. You got to understand something, man. When these the only problem that coaches generally have when they become color analysts is their ability to craft a thought, be succinct, get it out and shut up. Because a lot of times coaches want to get into a big explanation because they're not used to being succinct. They're not used to having time constraints on what they say. So Bruce Weber, which I appreciate, he does a lot of studio work. In studio work, you get to expand longer, but he's learning how to do a good job of taking what he wants to expand on and punching his points quickly and efficiently, and then letting his play-by-play guy get in. So Bruce got, man, listen, if you guys have a chance to go grab a beer and sit down and ask Bruce Weber about some of his stories, he will have you on the floor laughing. I'm telling you, he's a damn comedian, is what he is. Great guy, funny as hell. And if there's a situation where Bruce Weber is at a roast or something like that, and you get a chance to go, trust me, you won't be disappointed. The dude is hilarious. Bardo, give me Michigan State's big wins this season. Okay. Let's take a look. Let's look at Michigan State's big wins this season. Because I like to give you all what you asked for, because I appreciate you guys tuning in. You all support me. So I appreciate it. Indiana State's a big win. And you're like, Indiana State. Well, Indiana State is 51st in Ken Palm, one of the better. They're definitely the cream of the crop in the Missouri Valley Conference. And if you watch them play, you know that Indiana State's a quality team. That's a tournament team. So Indiana State is 1. Baylor is 2. Oakland I think Oakland has a chance to be a tournament team as well. Oakland has a win at Xavier. Very good ball club, and Michigan State took them apart. Obviously, the Baylor win. And then Butler's a fringe. They're a fringe tournament team. They're fringe, but they've lost to James Madison, tournament team. They lost to Duke, tournament team. They lost to Arizona, one of the top 5 or 6 teams in the country. They lost to Wisconsin, tournament team. They lost to Nebraska, a fringe tournament team. So, and they lost to Northwestern, who's definitely a tournament team. Now they got blasted. It's not going to look good, but those are all tournament teams. So the strength of schedule for Michigan State, like it usually is very, very strong. So I think I hope that answers your question. And Michigan State, again, let me give you their Ken Palm. 19. Michigan State is next to last in the Big Ten standings, and yet Ken Palm has them 19th in the country. So I get that's what I can tell you. Okay, and Brats, who are you referring to? Hansborough tore us up for losing to number 1. We have got to come out swinging. Who are you talking about, in Brats? Robert Glenn Blackwell, that's my brother right there. What's up, Glenn? Good to see you, brother. Yes, Illinois is playing well. Gary, college basketball has become like the NFL, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all, because they don't have to be forthcoming with these injuries anymore. And Nico Moretti must have really hurt himself, because he's been on the side of a milk carton. He's been missing. And I just don't like the way the college basketball has kind of circled to that now, because he was going to be and I still think he can be an important part of the team, but they're being very, very quiet on that. So when I hear something, I will definitely let you know. Phil Kafka says TSJ could be back with the team this week. Okay, we'll see. I wouldn't count on it. If there was a line to bet, I wouldn't bet on Terrence Shannon being back this week. Could be wrong, but we'll see. Thank you for that, Phil. Hey, what's up, Justin? Justin Friesian? I think it's your first time on here, Justin. If it is, welcome to Bardo's Breakdown. Thank you for tuning in. Can Illinois beat Michigan State this week without Shannon? Of course. Can Michigan State beat Illinois is the question. Oh, Illinois could definitely beat Michigan State, home or road. Illinois is the real deal, Justin. I don't know if you've seen them play without Shannon. Go back and if you've got YouTube TV or you've got like Big Ten Plus or Fox Sports app, go back and look at the last two games that Illinois played against Purdue and against Northwestern. Yeah, they can beat Michigan State. No doubt about it. It's going to be a great game. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Illinois is a shoo-in to win it, but certainly Illinois can win. Certainly. What's up, Kyrie? Terrence is a great young man. He's a great young man. That was one of the reasons why I was so sad, because I got to know him a little bit. I know his dad a little bit. I don't want to get into what all that other stuff. I'm not gonna touch that. According to Phil Kafka, Kyrie, they think there's a possibility that he can return this week. I mean, if he does, cool. It'd be great, right? We'd love to see him back. But he's entangled in a legal situation that is not it's not misdemeanor stuff, ladies and gentlemen. This is serious stuff. Okay, so I'll let other people pontificate about that. And I know that Phil put a link in here. Jeremy Werner, I think it's something that Jeremy Werner posted. Jeremy Werner is a real deal. He does great work. So if he says there's a possibility, then there's a possibility. But I don't really want to touch all that stuff because that's conjecture. Thank you, James Young. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Imani Williams. If I say who's been the top 5 players in the Big Ten this season, you would say Zach Edey, Marcus Domask. I'm not going to put Terrence Shannon in there. I'm going to leave him out. So I'd say Zach Edey, Marcus Domask, Tyson Walker at Michigan State. Dawson Garcia has been balling. I got to put Dawson Garcia in there because Minnesota's winning. So I got to put Dawson Garcia in there. And then let me make sure here that I don't – Boo Buie. Can't leave Boo Buie out. He's been playing too well. He's been the maestro, and Northwestern's playing it. They're playing well. They got, like I said, they got blitzed to Illinois. They came right back with an impressive win against Michigan State. Boo Buie's playing his tail off. So that's what I would say right now. Great question, Imani, and thanks for always tuning in. Really appreciate you. Illinois' analytics are just as good without Terrence Shannon. You think it's sustainable? Yeah, Ryan. Great point and great question. I do think it's sustainable because it's not Marcus Domask in the Illini. It's Marcus. It's Quincy Guerrier. It's Justin Harmon who had a tough game at Purdue. He didn't play well, but he had 20 against Northwestern. It's Ty Rogers. It's Dane Danger. It's Luke Goody. Luke Goody balled out. I believe had 15 against Purdue. So they've got depth. They've got size. They've got versatility. I definitely think it's sustainable. I really, really do. Now, that's a small sample size, but I do think it's sustainable. Scoop Hoop, what's good? Been watching Michigan State preseason ranking too high. No, I don't think so. You shut Tyson Walker down, then who scores for them? Izzo messed up not using a portal. Well, it's early. Scoop Hoop. Still early. So we'll see. But I think Michigan State's going to be okay. Thanks, Carol. It was a great atmosphere. If you guys, I know you've heard of the Palestra, but a lot of people in the Midwest, in traditional Big Ten territory, you hear about it, you got to go see it. There's nothing. It's a museum, ladies and gentlemen, in the concourse. It's a museum. on both sides. They've got murals, they've got trophy cases, they've got the history of basketball, high school, college, and pros. I'm telling you, the Palestra is the bomb. 8,000 on top of you, loud. It's got that Philly energy because Philly's got that energy, man, that I love, like Philly, Jersey, New York energy. It's great. Note on Nebraska. Now, Connor Clark is one of our correspondents for Bardo's Breakdown. Does a great job in Nebraska. Bryce Williams will be a game time decision tomorrow versus Purdue after turning his ankle in Wisconsin Saturday. Thank you, Connor, for that update. That's a great tidbit because that's going to really alter what Nebraska's trying to do. Bryce Williams, a very talented wing with nice size at like 6'6", 6'7", can really shoot the three, has bought into the defensive schemes at Nebraska. If he's a game time decision and doesn't go against Purdue, that's really going to alter the way that they're going to try to guard Zach Edey and attack Purdue. No, Carol, I won't be at that game. I'm going to guess Robbie Hummels calling that because they put Robbie on every big game this year, both, well, all three of them, NBC, Big Ten Network, and Fox Sports. So I don't know for sure, but if I had to guess, Robbie will be on that one. But no, I won't be on that one. You know what, Ron? Thanks for tuning in as always, man. I really appreciate your support. Men's college basketball is weird, man. These dudes they're weird. It's been long overdue that the game needs to go to 4 quarters. I don't know about the 6 foul though. I keep it at 5 fouls, but I definitely would like to see 4 quarters. Definitely. Hey, Chad, don't be sorry that you just joined, man. No, you joined, so thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I didn't see your post your question again, Chad. Did I skip over it inadvertently? Because I don't think I saw it. All right, let me go down here and see. All right. Let's see. Saturday, you got the game of the week, and I hope Northwestern just starts raising their Ken Palm. I'll watch Rutgers beat them Saturday. Wait a minute. You got the game of the week, and I hope Northwestern just starts raising their Ken Palm. Okay. Oh, you know what, Chad? According to Phil Kafka, here's the link. Copy this link down because this is a Twitter link. Better yet, let me do this. Let me pull up Twitter, see if I can share my screen, and let me see if I can plug this in and pull this up. Hold on, give me a second, guys. They're not gonna let me do it, are they? I'm trying to copy and paste this, and my software is not letting me do it. Let me see if I can pull this up. Where is my Twitter? Jeremy Werner. No, I want to see the Illini Inquirer because Jeremy does a fantastic job. So if he says it, let's see. All right, I got Jeremy's thing on here. Oh, wow. All right, let me see. Just got a call from one of Illini's Terrence Shannon Jr.'s attorney, Mark Goldenberg, who said that Shannon's legal team will file a motion on Wednesday for a temporary restraining order against the U of I to allow the guard to return to the court immediately. Wow. Okay, so that's what Phil Kafka was referring to. So 33 minutes ago, Jeremy reported that they filed for a temporary restraining order against the U of I to be reinstated immediately. All he wants is a fair process, according to his attorney, Mark Goldenberg. So thank you, Phil Kafka, for that, so that I could look and see exactly what you were referring to. So if this restraining order, goes through, then there's a possibility that he can return. So thank you, Phil. And Chad, thank you for your questions, so that I went back and looked at it. So we'll see. Is Moretti close to coming back? I don't know. I'm not happy with the way that this college basketball stuff is, man. Just tell us. So when he got his foot stepped on, he obviously sprained or broke something, because it's coming up on a month, right? I think it's about a month, maybe even 5 weeks since he got injured, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't have any update for you. Rogers is a slasher because he has no outside shot. He needs to cut to the rim till he gets a shot. Thoughts? Yeah, Chad. Illinois' offense is such that they will probe the defense to try to find the matchup that they like. And so, for example, when you see Marcus Domask, they'll have like Fletcher Loyer switched off on Domask. Then he either says something or he's got that look. His teammates know to space out. You're not going to cut to the bucket with him trying to go one-on-one when the whole side is clear. That's going to bring defense over to double team Domask, and that cancels out that matchup that the Illini like. So you're not going to get Ty cutting into a space where somebody's trying to work one-on-one. That's probably not going to work well. But they'll figure it out. This team is so talented and so versatile that Illinois will figure it out. Thought they needed to play Dane more when Edey was out. I agree. But I guess they didn't like the matchup with Trey Kaufman-Renn, because Trey Kaufman-Renn can step away from the bucket and hit the three. And I don't know that they like Dane guarding bigs that can step away from the bucket. I think they like him to be in the paint more and not on the perimeter where he can pick up fouls. Yeah, Carol, I'm not sure about that, because again, that's not necessarily how the Illini generally attack teams offensively. They have a few sets. They've got sets that they want to get specific guys to rock, but a lot of times the Illini will do some motion and they'll probe for the matchup they like. And when they get the matchup they like, they attack. So I don't know if Ty setting screens for Coleman and Coleman popping out is going to put the defense in a scenario that's going to give Ty a lot of looks. Just my opinion. I think Justin Harmon. That's a pretty good comparison, actually. I had not heard that, Dory. But that's pretty good. Yeah, I can go with that. I like that. Both are very good defensively. Now Justin's starting to score the basketball a little bit better. So I can see that. Hey, Jay, why didn't Illinois pressure Purdue's point guard full court? Illinois doesn't pressure full court. They don't have the personnel to do so. If you're going to put Ty Rogers on Braden Smith and try to pressure him full court, Ty's a good athlete. He's going to have a hard time keeping Braden Smith in front of him. And so you've got to have the personnel to do that. And the Illinois personnel is not – they're good. They're very good defensively. But they're not going to expend too much energy trying to press full court, because that's just not what they do. Do you believe in Purdue going further this year than in past few years? Yes. They have been battle tested for sure. Yes. However, like Illinois, like some teams in the Big Ten, if Big Ten teams go up against elite guards who are quick, that's going to be a problem. So I think Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer, when you saw them against Arizona, they went crazy. I think they figured out now certain ways. And Lance Jones makes a big difference for Purdue. They didn't have him last year. Lance Jones makes a huge difference for Purdue in terms of handling pressure. So I think that they'll be better suited this season. Let's see. Over the last 5 years, who has the most overall Big Ten wins? I'm getting Michigan State or Purdue. Purdue has edged Illinois now by 1 game. Illinois had the most wins over the last 5 years in Big Ten conference play. Purdue has it now by 1 game. Illinois is second. Michigan State's in the top 5, but Purdue won by 1 game and Illinois 2. Illinois had it for a while. Since Terrence left, Illinois is the #1 offense in the country, according to Bart Torvik. Okay, Ryan, I don't really follow Bart Torvik that much, even though he's very well respected in the analytics game. But I wouldn't be surprised, man. They're really good. Really, really good. Observation I made the other night with Purdue and Illinois. Purdue's bench did a great job picking Zach Edey when he went out in the first half with foul trouble. Yeah, that's why they're #1 team in the country. They really don't have a lot of weaknesses, Purdue. They're deep. They're physical. They can shoot from the 3. Zach Edey's the best player in the country. Trey Kaufman-Renn had a coming out party. So you see what he's capable of. Nobody talks about Mason Gillis. Nobody talks about Ethan Morton. These guys are old. They're experienced. They're tough. So, Purdue's a real deal. Tyler Hansborough hangs out with Jeff Goodman and that crew at Field of 68. And I think Rob Gouster, I really like him. I really like Terrence Oglesby. But John Fanta and Jeff Goodman and those guys, they get a little hot air for views and likes and clicks. And Tyler Hansborough is kind of like that, you know. So I wouldn't take what I take what he say with a grain of salt. Don't get too caught up in that. But I would like to see them. Yeah, Chad, we all would like to see this, but it ain't gonna happen. Illinois is not playing in-state teams. They're not gonna do that. I'd love to see it, but it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna happen. They're gonna. It would have to. The state of Illinois would have to force these teams to play one another in order to see that happen. Ooh, Dan Levy. What's up, Dan? Good to see you. you gonna throw a tough one in here, huh? Okay. Woo, Mount Rushmore of Big Ten all time. Golly. Jerry Lucas. Quinn Buckner. Jerry Lucas, Quinn Buckner, Glenn Big Dog Robinson, Rick Mount. And this last one, people are going to be like, what? I'm going to say Evan Turner. Evan Turner was dominant. So who did I say? Jerry Lucas, Quinn Buckner. And the reason I'm saying this, guys, because these teams won. Glenn Big Dog Robinson, I believe they got to the Elite 8. Sweet 16 or Elite 8. Evan Turner. Oh, and Rick Mount. That would be my Mount Rushmore of the Big Ten. Great question, Dan. Dang. Give me your Mount Rushmore. And everybody who's watching, if you're listening to this, give me your Mount Rushmore of Big Ten players of all time. Great question, Dan. Do these teams consult these NIL kids? Do these teams consult these NIL kids who are making lots of money as to consider themselves targets now? I'm not quite sure which these teams consult these NIL kids who are making. Oh. You know what? Every team does it differently, Chad. They'll either bring someone in formally to talk to the team, or they'll be talking to their team all throughout the season, because every head coach is worried about that. Right now, they're very, very worried about that. Kip Jones. All right, Kip, former Purdue great guy I used to play against, and great competitor. Love this dude. What's up, Kip? Good to see you, my man. Let me pull up. Where the hell is Purdue's schedule? Wait a minute. I'm looking at Michigan State. I'm on. Hold on. Oh, here it is. All right, let's look at Purdue's schedule and see. Let me see if I can answer Kip's question, because that's a good one. At Nebraska, if Bryce Williams isn't full strength, I don't know. Nebraska could, but I wouldn't say Nebraska. Home against Penn State, I think they'll handle them. At Indiana, January 16th, that might be the one, Kip. At Indiana. Then they go to Iowa. I don't think Iowa has the firepower to keep up. They got Michigan at home. Michigan's reeling. They come to Rutgers. Rutgers has gotten them the last 2 years here. That's January 28th. Then they host Northwestern January 31st. Northwestern has had their number, although the last 2 years in Evanston, not in West Lafayette. That'll be a close one. At Wisconsin could be one as well, February 4th. Mark that one. Then they get Indiana at home. I don't think Indiana plays as well outside of Simon Scott Assembly Hall. They get Minnesota, who's much improved, but I don't think they have the firepower to keep up with Purdue. At Ohio State, February 18th. Keep your eye on that one. They host Michigan State March 2nd. They go to Illinois March 5th, and I've got that game. Can you believe it? I got Purdue, y'all. One game this season. Illinois at Purdue. I'm looking forward to that one. So those are the games that I think that you could look at, Kip. At Indiana, January 16th. At Rutgers, January 28th. Home against Northwestern, January 31st. At Wisconsin, February 4th. At Ohio State, February 18th. And then they host Michigan State February 2nd. They go to Illinois February 5th. Those are the games that I think could give them some issues. I don't know that they'll lose those games, Kip, but could be an issue. Good to see you, my man. Much love, bro. Why do you think Michigan State's so up and down this year? Good question. Year to year, guys, teams don't stay the same. The chemistry changes. Different factors are involved. Jeremy Fears getting shot and lost for the season hurts a lot because he was starting to play a lot better, and he gave them a different dynamic. Trey Holloman's balling. Jackson Kohler really hasn't played yet. So a lot of factors. So a lot of things. It's tough to say. All right, let's see. I think Quincy Gary has a place at the next level. I think he can fit in somewhere in the NBA because he's 6'8", he can shoot the three, and he just knows how to play. He's like I think he's 24, 25. He knows how to play. I think there's a reserve role for him at the next level. You know what, Phil? Great question. FAU is going to be just fine. You got guys who have had success and they've been everybody's patting them on the back. That's hard to overcome. And they're getting everybody's best shot. They weren't getting everybody's best shot last year. Nobody knew who FAU was. But now everybody knows who they are, so they're getting everyone's best shot. So they can't just walk into a venue and people don't know who they are. Everybody knows who they are now. So it's tougher for them this year, but they're gonna be fine. They're gonna be fine. Let me get somebody else. I think they should have you call the Purdue and Illinois game with Robbie Hummel. That would be fun. Me and Jalen Rose did an Illinois versus Michigan game when I was still with ESPN. That was a lot of fun because me and Jalen could give historical things. So if me and Robbie were to call the Illinois Purdue game, that'd be a blast. I think me and him would have a blast. And hopefully they'd allow us to have our drink of choice. Because then if we had a little alcohol, we'd really get loose. So tell the networks to let me and Robbie call a game, a Purdue Illinois game. That'd be a blast. Great call, TM. No, Carol, no boo on Robbie. I'm calling the games that I was assigned, and I am grateful for every game that I get. Right, and I'm grateful for Robbie to be on our team because he does a great job. So, no boo on Robbie. We love Robbie over here. Okay, Andrew and Chad are saying that he had a stress fracture and all that. Yeah, Jay Hood. I mean, but I gotta James Kafka. I gotta give James Kafka that because he alerted me to that, and this is the first time that I put Twitter on this show. So James came through Twitter, so it's a great look on his part. But thank you, Jay Hood. I appreciate you, brother. Always good to see you. Thanks for your support as always. Okay, let's see. What's up, Denise? Thanks for tuning in. What order would you put Wisconsin, Michigan State, Illinois behind Purdue? I'd go Purdue, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan State. That's how I would do it. And what happened to Malik Hall yesterday? No points, rebounds, or assists. Yeah, Malik Hall can go missing sometimes. He's woefully inconsistent. I don't understand him sometimes. But yeah, he's been like that. He's consistently inconsistent. So who knows? When you say IU, I think you're talking about Indiana. If that's the case, Tom, if you're talking about IU, Indiana, yeah, they're making progress. I don't think they're a bubble team. I think they'll be a solid Big Ten team. They're 3-1 in conference. They're 11-4. I think they'll be solid. Bobby Deal, no. Thanks, Bobby. I appreciate the love, bro. 2 new knees, a new back. Yeah. No, the Illini are fine, man. They're gonna be fine. This is a really, really, really good team. But seriously, Purdue in no way is better than Illini with Shannon. Well, Bobby, if this restraining order goes through and Terrence Shannon comes back, we may get a chance to see it. Right? We just may get a chance to see it. We'll see. Let me get somebody else who J Hop. J Hop said, I can't stand analytics. It's the eye test, rebound, and turnover ratio. I like those things that you're saying. Here's the thing, Jay. A lot of people make analytics the whole toolbox. To me, it's a tool in the toolbox. It's not the whole toolbox. Okay? So I have a love-hate relationship with analytics. I like to use Ken Palm. Bart Torvik is good. Evan Maya is pretty good. But I don't, because here's the thing. Analytics can tell you a story. Like you said, eye test, rebounding, turnover ratio, those are all very important. But analytics definitely has a place. But it's the It's a tool in the toolkit. It's not the whole toolkit. You know what, Dan? Those guys, Big Dog didn't play all 4 years either. Maybe I could. You put me on the spot, dude. I'm sitting here doing the show. I'm going through all these things, and you put me on the spot. So good. You're right. Lyle Clark says Dange is definitely going into the portal next season. You can see it in his actions in the huddle during games. You know what, Lyle? You gotta remember something. Dane is a really soft-spoken dude, and he's got that slep rock exposure on his face to where you don't think he's into it, but he is into it. And so I think his demeanor and and the way that he moves, I think it gives off kind of the wrong impression to people. He's locked in. He's a part of the team, but he's a competitor. Shit, I'd be pissed too. I want to play. Nobody wants to sit on the bench. Everybody wants to play. So I don't think it's, he's definitely in the portal. I don't think it's that. I just think the young man wants to play. Wow. You guys got some interesting Mount Rushmores. Yeah, I forgot. I got put on the spot, man. Dan Levy put me on the spot. Chad Alt, Isaiah Thomas, Michigan Fab Five, Chris Webber, Big Dog, Magic Johnson. Okay. Trey Burke, D. Brown, Tom Coverdale, and Draymond Green. I only picked players I saw play. Okay. Magic, Mount, Chaney, Michael Thompson. Ooh, Glenn Robinson. Ooh, good one, DBL. A. Mays. Those are good. Okay, Carl Scott. That's legit. Magic, Glenn Robinson, Nick Anderson, Quinn Buckner, Scott May. All right, Carol, I see you. Yeah, he was sitting out that year, Chad. He was sitting out that year. Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, Chris Webber, Glenn Rice. Okay. Isaiah, Lucas, Mount, Magic, Robinson. See, so Tom was like me, except he had Isaiah and I had Quinn Buckner. Okay. What's up, Joe Groves? I wonder if back in September did something wrong, how he was able to play his best basketball. You would think if he was guilty, his game would have suffered. Yeah, I don't know, Joe. That's an interesting take. I'm not quite sure there. Jonathan Taylor. What's up, Jonathan? Purdue is a good and damn near impossible beat at Mackey Arena. I give you that. I just appreciated watching a high caliber game on Friday night. It was a great game Friday night. I totally concur. No, I mean, he admitted it. He said that they thought that Zach Edey might guard Ty Rodgers, and he said they didn't work enough on it. So I think he learned. That's what I think he learned. Happy New Year, Dawn. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Chad, I know Dick Vitale's working his tail off to get back. I think he got clearance from his doctor, but I think he's got to do some rehab to rehab his vocal cords. So we'll see. I hope he does get back, though. Yeah, I don't think Coleman's going to cool down, guys. He's older. He's been doing it. That's just part of his personality. Let's just hope he doesn't get any technical fouls. All right. It looks like that'll do it. My voice is going out. I got to get something to eat. I'm about to watch these two Big Ten teams. Michigan and soon to be Big Ten, Washington play in the national championship. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you all tuning in from Twitter. It's the first time I brought Twitter on my show. And I appreciate you guys and your contributions very, very much, especially Brad Kafka, thank you for that heads up on the restraining order with Terrence Shannon Jr. We'll monitor that. If there's any breaking news, I'll come back. But thank you guys. Love you all. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to join the tribe. Text me 312-847-2739 or go to bardostribe.com and get your free copy of, well, here, let me put it up. Get your free copy of Stephen Bardo's Guide to Basketball Terminology. It's free, y'all. Just put your email in. I'm not going to blow you up. Just come to you every now and then with pertinent information and some insider look on at the games, you know, a shoot around, my travels, all that type of stuff. So, again, you've got a couple of different ways you can join. Thank you all so much for watching Bardo's Breakdown. I love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your week of great Big Ten college basketball. And until next time, holla, y'all.